Mom, is it really true?
I'm afraid so, dear.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the recap review. Today we're going to be taking a look at set number 8698, Vultraz. The set contains approximately 133 pieces, was released in summer of 2008, and at time of release was approximately $20. So, this guy was effectively created for the point of a cereal to fill a bracket. I don't really know, he didn't do a whole lot. So before I begin, let me go ahead and get the disclaimer out of the way. Just because a pro or con is in this list does not necessarily mean it is my opinion. I do my best to keep these reviews as objective as possible, so any and all opinions and or statements are taken from the community and or are objective facts about the set I can represent here on camera. So please, if I say something, unless I explicitly tell you, do not assume it is my personal opinion. With that annoyance of the video that everyone seems to remind me of out of the week, let's go ahead and begin the review. Now we've gotten that all out of the way, let's go ahead and take the star of the show, Vultraz, to center stage. So Vultraz is clearly nothing special. He does have a few new recolors, specifically the torso in Metro Red and the feet in Metro Red. However, aside from that, he doesn't really have anything else that is unique to him, except for the mask. The mask is new. It's the mask of, I believe, scavenging, and that was actually a power recommended by our good friends over at Bionicle Sector 1, the best Bionicle wiki online. I think it was actually the owner, Swart. I'm not sure, but as far as I'm aware, that is the mask. It's an evil mask. So, he can't move his elbows. He has 2 points of articulation in the arms and legs and 1 in the head. And there's not a whole lot you can do with that. They're quite chunky pieces, and because of the new molding, they're very brittle as well. So you're not going to be able to mock with these. You're not really going to be able to play aside from vroom, 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 vroom. The mask is a slightly darker shade of red, specifically because it is melding with black. Now it is kind of a neat design. It's very sleek, very streamlined. However, it's also quite big. And the head sticks out quite an enormous amount. The eyes are orange, works very well with the color scheme. The color scheme is actually really consistent because there really isn't one. It's just one color. It's just red. And sure, you have the black and the darker red, but it's really just red in the orange eyes. So, it's kind of boring. And that really sums up Vultraz. He's boring. So with him out of the way, let's go ahead and look over his vehicle. Now, this vehicle does have a name. Get over there. However, I do not remember it right now. Call that a fault on me for not looking it up. So the vehicle is obviously the meat of the set. It looks to be some sort of... Heck, I have no honest idea what it's supposed to represent. It's kind of futuristic, space-agey. There are no new parts here, at least none that have not been in other sets before. You do have the wings from Kopaka. You have the wave pieces, specifically the turbines here, about 3 of those. This one little claw piece, which is a kickstand, and these fin things, all in silver. You have the Midex Sky Blaster, and under here you can fire it, and it works off of kind of like a pinwheel, turn wheel. Gotta really... There, whoa. It works really well. It's spring-loaded, so be careful of water. And you just reload it. It holds 4 rounds. So the neat thing about this, it does have a really cool design, and that's really neat. Very sleek, very streamlined, very aerodynamic. One of the really neat things about this, however, is this compartment here. You can open this up, and voila, extra ammunition. There are 4 rounds here. They feed nicely. They feed nicely right into this little compartment. However, don't open it up too widely, otherwise it will get jammed. But it does fit quite well, quite nicely, and it's not intrusive in the least. It really helps with the aerodynamic design, and it's kind of neat to have that extra ammunition in there. It's kind of similar to what they're doing nowadays with the new launchers. One of the issues with this set, however, is that it is rather unusual. There are gaps because there is a heavy Technic construction. It is quite thin, so there's not a lot of bulk to it. And the color scheme is actually rather boring. It's just a bunch of grays and silvers and black. Now that is consistent, except for, yeah, you guessed it, the red axles and the blue pins. They do stick out quite obnoxiously, specifically on this set, because, well, it's all silver and gray. It's monochrome. The color scheme is entirely monochrome. So the blue kind of polka dots and the red, they do not really lend themselves to this set. The balance is actually rather well. You can obviously easily knock it over. However, it is decent. Another issue is this little thing. It kind of just does this. It's not held in one place. This is kind of neat. Like I said, the design is rather sleek, streamlined. This looks kind of unusual. Now, it doesn't exactly look like it's unfinished. It just looks rather unusual. That generally sums it up. Getting Vultraz onto the vehicle is not especially hard. You kind of just plop him down and connect his hands to this really, really tiny steering wheel. And once Vultraz is on, it's like the floppiness does not matter. It's all good. And, you know, you can kind of bulk him up. Now, it works fine like so. However, like when you get the legs up, he does kind of take that aerodynamicness. It's like it looks really cool. Kind of mimic the box in that way. That looks really good. However, he doesn't really do a whole lot else. And that's effectively a good summary of this set. It doesn't do much. There's not a whole lot to it. It is a fun little set. Definitely, I would argue, worth $20. It seems like it fits that bracket. One might even argue you could bump it right back down to $15 if that was an existing price point for LEGO in 2008. Now, there's really not a whole lot you're missing out here. If you want to have that story connectivity with Mazika, who also came out this year, in 2008, then go for it. If you're a collector, go for it. Would I personally recommend you try and hunt this set down? Not really. It's not a must-have. You're not missing out on anything extraordinary or exciting or anything particularly mind-blowing or revolutionary. He's just a quaint little set, and that's about it. He's not particularly exciting. He's not even that bad either. There's nothing, except for the Avtorn design, one would say, there's nothing offensive I can think of. Now, some would obviously disagree. These, I know there is, and I referenced to this in the intro, there's an incredibly scathing review of Vultraz back from when the set has been released. I definitely think that gave him quite the bad rap, and some of that may be warranted, some of it may be not, but I've given you guys the quick rundown. So that has been Vultraz. What do you guys think of him? Do you hate him? Do you think he sucks? Or do you kind of like him a little bit in a slightly ironic way that would annoy everyone? Kind of like Guitar. Please feel free to let me know either in the comments below or on the TTV message boards at board.ttvpodcast.com. Join me next week when I go over this guy's brother in arms, Mazika. Thanks for watching, and farewell.